Clip.co University. How do you figure out what's reasonable or unreasonable to expect from an editor? Like, you're coming in, you don't really know a lot about video editing. How do you get to a point where you figure out like what to expect, what's reasonable for turnaround times?
Yeah, so the easiest way is have two editors, because then you're always going to have this one editor's benchmarking the other. It's just like, hey, if this one does a lot better or faster than that person, okay, either like get with the program or you're out. And this sort of like mini competition helps. That's why our team, we have a bunch of editors. Outside of that, it helps to have like a little bit of knowledge yourself. So like if you've edited some stuff in your past, you don't have to edit a ton, just like the bare minimum to know like, okay, it takes longer to animate than to do a motion graphic, which also takes longer than putting in B-roll. And it's like you kind of have this list of like what's easier and what's harder to do in the back of your head. But you can also like kind of imagine it too. You don't have to think like, it's pretty intuitive that an animation that you create from scratch is harder than just like copying B-roll from a movie and putting that in your clip or your video.
Yeah, I think part of it, I think the two editor thing is great. If you're not able to do that, I think you kind of just have to start, see what you get back. And I mean, this is going to be a different lesson that we talked about, but like you can run an audit, which is basically like when your editor delivers something, have them do a readout of the 10 things and how long each step took in their process. And then like, you're not a dummy, right? Just see if like intuitively, if your gut's like, that seems to make sense. If it doesn't, drill into it. And the editor might have a good reason for why it took longer. You might find out they spent just 6 hours on the first day combing through your 120 gigabytes of vlog footage. You didn't know that because you shot it. You're familiar with the vlog footage. You thought like that's just a known. But if you're coming in blind to 120 gigabytes of footage, okay, that might take 6 hours, let alone downloading all of that.
Right.
So I think you just got to get a readout and get the data.
Often we'll find like assets in general, whether like videos for B-roll or like music or sound effects, like those are just things that can take a long time if editors don't have libraries. So provide them those $15 a month services, those libraries, and like cut that whole time out entirely. They don't have to go searching like crazy. But you also don't want to be the person that like micromanages. We see this a lot where they'll be like, here's the script of the video, and I already found all the assets that I want you to use. And it's just like taking up a lot of your time. You don't want that. And it's like then sucking the creativity out of them. If there's something that you definitely want in, rare circumstances will put that. But that's more like, consider this. You don't need to do it. Just like consider adding this if you want, but like keep the creativity with them. And then, yeah, just do those audits to make sure they're not crazy. I also like the idea, well, occasionally we'll do this. We'll have an editor sort of like time lapse screen record. So you can see, like, say they work, 8 hours, they'll just like, you'll get to see the 8 hours in a couple minutes. And then you can kind of see where they spend the bulk of their time. Not something to do super often. Like we don't like screen recording, time tracking stuff, but like once a month, not a bad idea to get in there and just like see how they're spending their time.